All right. Hello and welcome, fellow survivors, to a quick overview on how to potentially help Pickle Rick out here and beating these level 27 zombies. Now, I haven't gone over these reports yet because I wanted to walk through you guys or walk through them with you guys how I would go about beating this walkers from start to finish and see if we can get him to win this. We may not be able to help him beat it. It's going to really be dependent on the resources he has saved, the decisions he has made, and the technology that he is working with. But we're going to go ahead and see if we can't find or nitpick any new improvements for his team. And let's just get into it. So we have the first battle report here. He sent one, two, three, four battle reports, and he said help. And I was sleeping, so I didn't see this originally. But let's go ahead and go through and check out his battle reports. So first thing I'm looking at here is the composition that he's running. He's running Hometown Heroes. They are all 5 stars. He does have a level 50 vintage truck, which has solid attack, defense, and HP. So he is rocking this vintage truck. He may be allocating some of these effects on his formations slightly. I don't know. I think I kind of like it. 83% attack, 62% defense, and 46% health. It means he kind of did a little ratio here. He's kind of separated his materials in a fashion that he's really prioritized attack, then defense, and then HP. And I think that's kind of a pretty good thing here, especially for walkers. I haven't really decided the total metrics here for how we value defense and health at times here. I know with Sulvion and myself, we have a bit different frames of mind and logic on how defense works, but continuing on in the future, that's why I always like to go attack first and go attack heavy into it, up to the point where you see a very large diminishing returns in this vehicle. So you could probably pump this attack up to maybe 100%, and get the defense to like 45% and the health to around the same amount as well. Kind of depends on the amount of bars invested. You can kind of tell that as you go through and add those precious metals to your vehicle when it starts costing a lot per click and when you should start kind of deviating towards other defense and health parts of that vehicle. So it's going to be kind of a user discretion. I can't fully explain it to you. It is more of an experience that which once you've played so much and you kind of get a good feeling for your teams and how these attacks and formations and metrics kind of work. So I don't have all the answers for this specific effects on your formation, but let's go ahead and continue down and see what we got here. Wow, this is so crazy. So you're at 3,959 wounded total zombies. So you're so close to actually beating this on this round here. So it's 5,000 wounded to 3,959. This is extremely close. You just need something. It seems like a little bit to tip you over beating these zombies actually. So let's dive a little bit deeper into it. All right, so we're looking at the recruit here. The recruit is level 15. So we can click, I believe, this and check out kind of how you've built out your team. So with 30 talent points, you've chosen to go 10% attack, defense, and health. On melee, you've also chosen to go 10% attack, defense, and health on sharpshooters. Now, that's kind of questionable, but we'll see where his armies go, and maybe he has a melee sharpshooter setup, which he's benefiting from, or we'll just kind of go through that. So we got the dog next here. It's at a 6.8 multiplier. Very nice dog. 6.8 multiplier is pretty good. I know it doesn't affect a lot of things in the grand scheme of things, but it is very good in the way that it's one of the max rolls you can get. The highest I've seen is probably about a 7 on that. And that does affect the front, middle, rear per level. Every time you level, you'll go up 6.8 troop capacity on each of those. So in terms of skills here, we got damage dealt by all fighters in formation 1%, attack of all fighters in formation when rallying 1%. So rally chase, not going to help you here with the zombies, of course, I'm sure you know. Rear crew capacity plus 10, okay, it's not terrible. Attack of melee fighters formation 1%. Damage taken reduction or damage taken by all cavalry in formation minus 1%. Fighters capacity, so you know we have a cavalry skill here. It's not really helping us too much, I'm sure. We have health of fighters in formation, sharpshooter attack, all fighters attack, all fighters defense, and sharpshooter damage reduction. So just right off the bat here, it looks like you just have an uncommon or a legendary uncommon dog, which is okay. There's ways to get legendary skills on this dog. by exchanging and things of that sort. And if you would like to improve that, I'm going to need a little bit more information from you so we can make your dog a bit better in the future. But I don't think this is really what is going to be the issue that's going to push you beyond the zombies or the walkers. Of course, it would be nice to have attack, defense, or HP legendaries that you could throw on the Shiba to increase whichever troop specific type you're using. So let's go ahead and scroll down even further. Obviously, we're using the Hometown Heroes chemistry here, which is a pretty cool chemistry because it does give defense, health, and combat speed, and it is in the general sense. So it doesn't matter what troop types you put in Hometown Heroes, you can kind of build a very balanced team with it. Although Hometown Heroes is very lacking in total attributes and their total stats and raw power, and some of their skills might be a little bit lackluster, there's ways that you can kind of gear up your teams that will make this actually even more stronger. And we kind of went over this as well. Sulvion actually taught me about how if you put a legendary equipment or your best equipment on Morgan, it's actually going to be the most efficient. You will have the least amount of wounded troops, and you'll have the greatest amount of wounded troops that you inflict on the enemy team by equipping your Morgan first before equipping your Militia Rick or your Errant Shane, because Morgan has a very special ability. Um, we can go into that as well, I believe. So if you look at Father's Love here, there's a 55% chance to safeguard another crew, taking on the damage of basic attacks and active skills instead of them, and to let the survivor crew enter a shield state so the damage taken is minus 5%. This is going to be extremely big skill for Morgan, and having that gear on there is going to amplify him a bit. Driven Mad, in the first 3 turns of the battle, 246% damage is dealt to one enemy crew. So if you think about putting your best equipment as well, the first 3 turns of that battle, he's going to proc so much harder, and Morgan is going to be your bread and butter. He's going to be your meta hero in this formation and get you all those kills because he does do a lot of damage. He's very defensive, and he has some decent skills in terms of an overall perspective in trying to beat these zombies. So we have epics on the Errant Shane in the front line. So you are using the sharpshooters I see at 335% attack to 87% defense to 87% health. So we're quite even on the spread here. A little bit more attack than defense and health, but the spread's quite even. Something that's going to hurt you really bad, which is quite interesting, is that you're at 31 speed compared to 32 speed. And you don't actually see this often in a lot of battle reports against walkers. At least not in my experience have I seen or noticed some of these issues. So this is kind of a big deal. Getting your troop speed to at least 32 or 33 is going to help you a lot in PvP and PvP in this specific scenario. So you could be losing greatly just based off this speed right here. That would be definitely the ticker there. What we can kind of do to check that maybe is see the battle log. Let's see if in PvE the battle log works like that. So you have your attacker lineup, your defender lineup on turn 1. Let's see. Morgan lost some fighters after launching. So the front crew walker went. So the front crew walker, that's going to be the walkers, went first. They launched their skill lash out, and Morgan lost some fighters here, and that's quite interesting. So that's going to be a little bit. That's going to be quite a bit of your troops here. I think you'll gain a lot more damage if you're able to get that speed up +1. I'm kind of confused on why it's actually 31 with the chemistry. I have to kind of take a look at this. I'm sure some of you guys can chime in the comments and help us improve his teams as well. I do not know everything, of course, and I am only going to be able to give him the best advice possible from my own experience, and I'm always learning every day. And I'm always open ears to listen to you guys and hear you out on some of your suggestions on how to help beat these teams for some of these players. So thank you so much. In the attribute resources, we can kind of look at some of the attack here. So we got some clan tech going on here. We have 58% of this tech. Vehicles, 83%. You know, that's based off the vehicle there. It's not bad. Season buff animals. So not a lot from the animals there. We got defense, health, and speed. We got base value reduced. I'm not understanding where this base attribute, because I'm pretty sure basic is like 32, right? It might be because he's tier 9, actually. I haven't looked at the tier of these troops. Yeah, so tier 9, actually, if you guys didn't know, the speed is 30 of tier 9, which makes beating these zombies, which are tier 10, very hard because their standard speed is going to be 32 and your speed is going to be at 30. So it's really going to force you trying to get those animal skills earlier than you can, because I really think that the only gems you should really spend in this game are on elite levels and on animal skills. And that's just kind of like the bottom of it. Like, you just can't spend gems anywhere else other than those two places, because you're going to run into these issues that if you invested early and you got your +1 or +2 troop slash general specific combat speed bonuses from those dogs, and you only have to have one skill on it, if you're able to save that over a couple months, do your due diligence, take 3, 4, 5, 6 months of your gameplay and really drive that home, get that, you will benefit and see the benefits of that into your gameplay into the future forever with that animal, and it'll greatly help you out, because you'd probably be beating um this set of walkers here purely off the fact if your troop speed was at 32 and even with them, because you'd also get the chemistry +1 and gain the ability to kind of hit that and beat that. So we're gonna have to give him some advice here. I will make a part 2 of this video. This is the first video that I'll make in this installation, and at the end of this video there will be a link going to the part 2 of this video. Maybe we can find the answers and see if you actually can beat it with some of our suggestions and recommendations. With this video, I'm just going to kind of go over some of the things that I see off the bat initially, and I'll go over his other reports off the recording as well, and see if we can kind of tailor out some of his needs and then tell him what he needs to do, and then we'll come back and see if we can't beat that as well. So he's got the 4 epics on Errant Shane, not bad. He's got 1 epic belt on his Morgan, so very good. Props to you equipping Morgan with a legendary belt level 9. That's really cool to see. I don't see why you would have the berserkers in the front line here. I would say that I would most definitely put melee on this as well. I just believe that melee are so much better against walkers overall in the most general sense. You will always see, or most likely see, if you were to swap this out to melee troops versus sharpshooters, you'd see your wounded go down and their wounded go up, or at least your wounded would go down and they would stagnate on the total wounded inflicted. But overall, it would help you, get those troops into further rounds and increase your damage as an overall 1, 2, 3 crew line, essentially. So we got that going here. Obviously, we're down 1 speed, and then you got a level 17 belt. So the only mistake I would say is I would put this level 17 belt on your Morgan, swap that up. I understand why you went the legendary belts. Sometimes it's very hard to save for the weapons, chest, and helmets. If you're going to go that route and you've already committed to a legendary belt, I would personally recommend going for the helmet next, going for the chest, and then finally getting your weapon. And now that is a reverse order of doing things, but you've already kind of invested yourself into the economic build slash min-max way of doing it. So I would say see it through, build your helmet, build your chest, build your weapon, and try to get Morgan with full legendaries before you go on to getting any other legendaries. So your first step in this is going to be getting the legendary combat power helmets. Get that first, keep working with that, and then you do have the melee in the back crew as well, so that's really good here. Errant Shane is in the back, so yeah. I mean, the order necessarily doesn't matter. I've noticed some people will put Morgan in the front, which is interesting. I think Morgan in the front could be decent. You could try that. I'm personally going to have to try that myself. I know that they do have some guides in the game that tell you to put these heroes in certain places, and you have them in the correct places. I believe here with Errant Shane in the front, Morgan in the middle, and then Militia Rick in the back. That is how they are listed. So let's just kind of continue through here. Yeah. So I think that's going to be the actually, there's no more to continue. Sometimes I just don't know when to stop here, guys. Pickle Rick, main things to take away from this: change your legendary gear, focus on Morgan, put the melee crew in the front to replace that. Also, we can kind of go through your talents here, and it's very interesting. I understand that the sharpshooters are going to be benefited by your recruit talents, but as a economic slash budget player, I do wholeheartedly believe you focus on one troop type and you focus on one vehicle and you make a really strong F1 and you kind of build your teams out from there. They will start to all kind of cascade and all get stronger. At the same time, melee is just going to be the best in the most amount of team compositions you can put together between the Whispers, Hometown Heroes. What do you have here? Why am I drawing a blank? There's so many combat hero teams. Yeah. I guess it's not too important. You guys already know the most by this point. I could probably go through and look at them personally here, but I'm just looking at this recruit level and I see that you have 30 talents. I will explain a way that I go about my recruit talents so that maybe it will help you guys in this video as well, and you personally, Pickle Rick. So thank you so much for watching this video and still watching and trying to learn and figure out how to beat it, because it is a passion of mine to help you guys win and get the most out of everything you do here. So the way that I have my points set up in this currently is I have maxed out my melee side here on the left, and I've only went the minimum amount of points to continue down the tree until I get to the point where I can max all these on the bottom, and then I'll kind of backtrack and work at some of these other ones like damage dealt bonus and damage taken reduction. Obviously, the main thing we're going for here is march capacity on the next tier. Resistance against damage dealing skills is okay, it's solid, but we're really looking for the speed, which I believe is at the very end. That's going to be quite a bit of ways for most of us now, but don't worry, hang in there. I believe we'll all get there at some point. So going through the combat tree, go one troop type, go follow that troop type all the way down, put the minimum amount, which is 3, to get to the next tiers, and it's quite simple. You'll have to do it on the melee as well. As you'll notice, my left side here is only 3 out of 5 on these, which is no big deal because we have to also get the damage taken reduction up to 3 out of 5. But we don't worry about that right now because the third tier, you can actually get 6 out of 10 and 6 out of 10 as well for the max. So as I level up, fighter health will go to 6 out of 10 as well. And then I will backtrack to some of the skills and start upgrading them very slowly. But right now, I'm getting the maximum benefits out of my melee troop type in terms of those bonuses. So we got to get this march capacity as well. That's what I'll be going for, because you'll kind of go back and forth between them. So we'll have to unlock these each with 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and then we'll be able to get march capacity 3. And then once we get march capacity 3, we can even backtrack further and unlock some of those things. So it's kind of like a balancing scale, and I hope that kind of helps you guys out. So that's going to conclude this episode of helping out our friend PickleRickHD. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I greatly appreciate you. This experience has been awesome. I'm having so much fun making these videos. I hope you guys are having so much fun watching them, alongside watching all the improvements and the growth of the stream. It's just been a blast. So thank you so much. Make sure you guys leave a like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Let's see. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. Have a good Wednesday, guys. Peace. Boom. Don't forget to check out part 2 of this video for results.